No, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you. Really, really bad.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my video for the new Justice League Snyder Cut Joker announcement. That's right, Jared Leto's Joker is coming back in the Justice League Snyder Cut, so I'll explain what's going on, what that means, and what the scenes that they're filming with him are going to be. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There's a bunch of really big stuff coming up, but starting with the big stuff first, number 5. If you didn't see the news, just a little while ago, I was actually making a Batman video completely unrelated when they dropped the news that Jared Leto was coming back as the Joker. If that sounds confusing, don't worry, because we have the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and then we have Matt Reeves' new Robert Pattinson Batman movies that are going to cast their own version of a new Joker once they eventually get to that character in the sequels. So if you thought that there were a lot of Batmen going around between Ben Affleck's Batman, Michael Keaton's Batman coming back, and the Robert Pattinson Batman, now we're going to have a whole bunch of Jokers flying around. So just to be clear, these are totally new Joker scenes that they're filming during the Snyder Cut reshoots that are happening this month. So Zack Snyder is working on a bunch of stuff. He has the new Dawn of the Dead movie that he's making right now, and they're filming with some of the Justice League actors coming back. Like Ben Affleck's Batman is coming back to film some new scenes, Wonder Woman is coming back, Cyborg is coming back because there's a ton of Cyborg that'll be in the Snyder Cut that wasn't in the theatrical cut. Also, when they were announcing Jared Leto coming back to film new scenes as Joker, they said that Amber Heard is coming back to film new Mira scenes as part of all the Atlantis Aquaman stuff that's happening during the movie. The funny part, though, about the Joker news is that it's completely new stuff that was never part of the original plan for the Justice League movie when Zack Snyder was still originally working on it back in 2017 before he had to leave. Now what it seems like is happening with the Snyder Cut is that Zack Snyder is going way above and beyond his original Justice League plan and sort of combining elements of the original version of Justice League with his plans for Justice League 2 had he gotten to make that movie. The Snyder Cut is going to be over 4 hours long, so they're just using it to wrap up as many big storylines as possible and pay off moments that Zack Snyder had originally probably intended to pay off in other separate movies that aren't going to happen now. I've also seen a lot of speculation online since the news broke that this news of Joker coming back is somehow related to David Ayer's Suicide Squad cut that has 1,000% more Joker scenes in it that no one has seen before. I'll address that during the video too. But most of you who saw the Justice League Snyder Cut trailer will remember we already saw a big Joker Easter egg in that new footage. During the longer version of the Batman Nightmare scene where the camera is panning through the rubble of the Hall of Justice, formerly known as Wayne Manor, you can see a bunch of Justice League artifacts, weapons, trophies from their adventures because the scene is supposed to be happening years in the future after Darkseid has conquered Earth. That's what the Omega symbol burned into the ground is for. That's what all his ships in the background are doing here. They're strip mining Earth for all of its resources. If you want to see the darkest timeline version of that, they did that during the Justice League Apocalypse War animated movie. But because this is all happening in the future, the Justice League has been together for several years before this all happened, so you see Wonder Woman and S.H.I.E.L.D., you see the picture of Batman's parents, there's a ton of stuff here if you zoom in and enhance. You also see in the background here one of Joker's playing cards blowing in the wind, implying that at some point Batman had finally defeated the Joker, not confirming that he was dead, so there already was some kind of Joker stuff happening in the movie. But number 3, most of the news outlets are describing this new Joker stuff, the reshoots, as being scenes for the Joker and Batman to explain all the dead Robin stuff and pay off the costume from Batman v Superman that he walks by, the dead Robin costume. A couple years ago after the movie came out, Zack Snyder actually kind of explained what was going on with this Robin because people are like, wait a minute, have they already done Batman Death in the Family? Are they getting ready for an Under the Red Hood movie? Will they introduce a version of Jason Todd? Zack Snyder actually clarified that this was meant to be the Dick Grayson Robin who had died. So obviously a very different version if they were ever going to build up to an Under the Red Hood movie. There is a version of a Nightwing movie that they were planning on making a couple years ago, but I think they put that on permanent hold while they're working on the new Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves Batman movies. So maybe someday we'll see that Nightwing movie. But originally there weren't any plans to pay off that dead Robin scene during the Justice League theatrical cut that Zack Snyder was working on way back in 2017. It is possible that Snyder had intended to pay that off in Justice League 2 with some sort of flashback scene because Batman was supposed to die in Justice League 2. As part of that original storyline, it was meant to be sort of a reverse sacrifice twist, mirroring Superman's sacrifice in Batman v Superman. Superman died for our sins in Batman v Superman, then in Justice League 2, it was supposed to be Batman's turn. Because of the way things went down and the way they changed their movie plans, and then us getting Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, a lot of people were making Marvel comparisons. I don't think that anybody was trying to copy anyone else, but the movies would have felt very similar with the time travel twists in Justice League and Justice League 2, is all the time travel stuff they did in Avengers Endgame, and then Iron Man sacrificing himself, so you would have had two giant franchises that felt very similar to each other. But way back when they were still originally planning on doing Justice League 2 with Zack Snyder, they were still going to do Ben Affleck's version of the Batman movie. That would have taken place after Justice League 2. So during that version of events, it's assumed that Batman would have died earlier in the movie than the Flash would have successfully time traveled from this future post-apocalyptic wasteland, warning Batman in the past, paying off the Batman v Superman Flash nightmare scene. They do things differently, save Superman from Darkseid's influence by rescuing Lois Lane. She would have been killed by Darkseid in the original timeline. Then they go on to defeat Darkseid, and everyone gets their happy ending, going off to their own spin-off movies. But number two, though, here's the thing. The Jared Leto Joker wasn't originally going to be the main villain of Ben Affleck's version of the Batman movie. That was supposed to be Deathstroke. Joe Manganiello said that originally this Deathstroke post-credit scene during Justice League was supposed to set up the Batman movie, but they changed it when Joss Whedon came on. So we might see the original version setting up Ben Affleck's Batman movie when we get the Snyder Cut. But even if he wasn't going to be one of the main villains during his version of the Batman movie, I think they would still had a version of Jared Leto's Joker show up during that. It would be weird to have a big Batman movie right after Suicide Squad and Justice League 2 without seeing the Joker show up somewhere in it. He was a huge part of the Suicide Squad movie before all the cutdowns, but he still wasn't a main character during that. They were still originally planning for him to go off and have a bigger role in other DC movies, though. Like, you sign a big actor like Jared Leto, you intend to feature him heavily in at least one movie, and most of his appearances thus far have just been really small cameos. So I think had things gone to their original plan, they would have continued to do Suicide Squad sequels with that cast of characters, and he would have continued to show up during those movies. They are doing James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie, but he already said that Jared Leto's Joker isn't featured anywhere in that, even though they're bringing Harley Quinn back. His movie is also not supposed to be a direct sequel, but it's kind of a sequel. They'll explain what's going on with the timeline and the continuity at the beginning of it, so don't worry, it'll all make sense. Some of the cast of the original Suicide Squad movie is coming back for the new movie, so technically they are connected. But the other big Jared Leto Joker movies I believe that they had planned to do were just more Harley Quinn Joker spin-off movies from Suicide Squad. Like, imagine the Birds of Prey movie if they had done it as a Gotham City Sirens movie, and Joker would have been the main villain instead of what we actually got in Birds of Prey, where he was more of a footnote. That was supposed to be his version of the Joker at the beginning of the movie, and they didn't even use any Jared Leto Joker footage. It was just supposed to take place a little while after the events of the original Suicide Squad movie, but before the events of the new Suicide Squad movie. So number one, just addressing the David Ayer Suicide Squad cut and the future of the Joker character inside the DCEU. Right now, David Ayer does say that there is a version of an Ayer cut, as he's calling it, ready to go. Originally, what happened is the studio just took the movie away from him and had someone else cut a version that they released theatrically. So yes, they could do the same thing that they're doing with the Justice League Snyder Cut and release it on HBO Max in a couple years, but the reason why I don't think they're going to do that is mostly because the new Suicide Squad movie exists and it's coming out next year in theaters. If you can believe it, there's supposed to be some movies coming out in theaters next year. If we didn't have that new Suicide Squad movie, I'd say probably yes, then they would totally roll out an Ayer cut in a couple years, but now probably not so much. As for the future of the Joker character in the DCEU or the DC movies, however you want to think about them, I think unless a new director comes in and wants to specifically use Jared Leto's Joker or reference him as part of a new Harley Quinn story, the next time we see a version of the Joker after the Snyder Cut will be the new version that Matt Reeves casts inside the Robert Pattinson Batman movie trilogy. But the Joker isn't supposed to be introduced in a big way until those sequels at some point. He's not meant to be a huge thing in the first new Batman movie. He is supposed to exist in this universe that they're creating. You saw the Superman costume behind the scenes, you saw the Wonder Woman costume, so some of the Justice League characters do exist within the universe of Robert Pattinson's Batman movie, but I don't think we're supposed to see the actual Joker of that universe for a good long while. And because they're filming the movie right now, people spotted an Easter egg on the set of that tells us exactly when the Batman movie takes place in the timeline. Recently spotted in Chicago where they're filming Gotham City scenes, this custom date sticker says 2019, meaning the movie takes place in present day pretty much, but on a different Earth. I know a lot of you are also asking now because in a couple years we'll have 3 versions of the Joker. Why don't they just do a 3 Jokers DC Black Label movie? But post all your Joker Snyder Cut theories in the comments below. What kind of scenes do you think he's going to have? Do you think they'll just be flashback scenes, or do you think we'll see him in present day too? Real big reminder, The Mandalorian Season 2 episodes are starting next week on Disney+. I'll be doing videos for all those. As long as you have alerts enabled for my channel, you should see all those videos. While you wait for everything, click here for that brand new Michael Keaton Batman clip, and click here for all that new Robert Pattinson Batman footage from the set of the Batman movie. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay safe. I'll see you guys tonight.